and welcome to Breakfast with Dr. J. I wonder where you are in the world. So when you pop on, please say hello. Always good to know when people are on. So welcome to Breakfast with Dr. J. On 16th of May, I've had a fantastic week. What have you got up to? So when you pop on, please say hello in the little comments box. Okay, I'm not on the mobile phone, so just if you put a few thumbs up on the phone, I can see it, but not actually on the computer. Well, I had a fantastic week getting ready for our Sales Authority Club event. I must say it was we had to do it online this month or this quarter, and it was a really great. Everyone was just full on. We had 30 plus people on, and everyone was going into the breakout rooms, meeting lots of new people, and learnt lots of new stuff. And the thing we covered this quarter was how to do an explanation, a demonstration. So it came to mind that I thought I'd talk to you a little bit about something that came up in the training. And one of the things that did come up was specificity. So when you pop on, say g'day in the comments. Always good to know who's on. As I said, I can't see who pops on when I'm on the computer. So if you do pop on, say g'day. Always nice to see you, because I do want to cover a fair bit of stuff today, because it was interesting when we did our training yesterday. And one of the things that was really evident, that a lot of people are being very, how can we say, generic in their conversations. And if you want to inspire people in sales, what you do need to do is to have a thing called specificity. We say specificity makes things real. And I find it's a real challenge when we don't understand that. So I'm going to give you some tools today and some ideas to go away and give you some, let's say, processes that will make closing easier. The first thing I'm finding in sales or in general conversation is that we have this thing called fake rapport. It's small talk. And when people get into small talk and it's really awkward, it doesn't flow. And let's just face it, selling is just having a conversation. Let's take the word out of the word selling out of it, and let's put it into context. You're having a conversation with somebody that you need to create a connection with, to see what they want and see how you can help them. So why is it awkward? Well, because in the back of your brain, you're thinking, I'm going to ask for some money at the end. Now, some people like to ask for money, but a lot of people feel awkward. And when you have this fake rapport and you're not living in the moment and thinking what you're going to do later, this creates a feeling, an energy, even if it's online, of something that's not, how can we say, authentic. Authenticity is a skill that comes from competence and confidence. Authenticity comes from when you know what you're going to do, but you're actually present for the now. Let's face it, when you're actually talking to a friend, you want to be present, you want to give them your attention. Listen. And I'm going to show you some stuff that actually will help you do this really easily. It's quite simple. Because that if you don't have that connection, then it doesn't matter how you go through qualification, right through to your explanation, demonstration, even to the close. It ain't going to happen. So if you want to actually have some specificity in your conversation, you've got to make sure that in the initial dialogue, you're able to create rapport and try to find at least two things in common. Even on the telephone, get their opinion about something and see if you can connect. Like attracts like. Now, when they actually tell you about something, I'm going to get you to use a thing that we take for granted and get your trusty pen out and take notes. Now, I know a lot of you have a great memory, but when you have a memory that is being inundated with lots of information in a conversation, you're not going to remember it. Now, this is a skill. Get permission to write things down. If you're online, say, let me just write a few things down, and write it down. If you're belly to belly or face to face, write some things down. Tell them you're going to take some notes in your notebook or type it onto your iPad. Now, this is important because you can refer back to these things and remember the specificity. If you build rapport, create the opportunity to talk about it later. So if you have a good indication of someone's, let's say, what they like and like about your conversation, you're going to find it's going to be much easier to actually have the person talk to you. So if you're talking to somebody and they are engaged with you, I want to make sure that you are engaging with them properly. Now, let's see if we can fix that focus on my lens here for a moment. Let's have a look here. There we go. Might be a bit better now. Let's have a bo peep and see if I can find my little thing that actually makes it a bit more focused. There you go. It's much better now. Technical wizardry. The thing is, small talk and commonality are not the same. Take notes as you're talking, using a trusty pen to actually get the opportunity to bring back the detail that they spoke about during your communication. This is a really simple thing to do. And when we get into the flow into your sale, and we talk about we'll get results, or you'll get your property, or we'll actually get your, let's say, financial freedom, and we'll give whatever it may be. What happens here, we get lost in the broad brush. The broad brush is when we talk about things generically. You say you want to be with your family and go have a little bit of freedom and go on holidays with your family. Let me tell you right now, find out who their family are. Write their names down. It's Mary, it's Peter, it's Joanne, right? And all of a sudden you can then talk about Mary, you can talk about Joanne, you can talk about Peter. Where you want to go? Oh, we want to go to Queensland. Well, we're in Queensland. Oh, I love Great Keppel Island. Oh, write that down. Then you talk about Joanne and Peter and Mary going to Great Keppel Island. All of a sudden, now becomes Technicolor. It's coming color, 3D. Or let's take your family on a holiday. That is so vanilla. And when we get a vanilla presentation, like, people just switch off because you're just another sales guy that's just showing them a process which does no specificity, and it's not fixing their problem. Now let's just say they have a problem with weight. Get the specificity of where it's affecting them in going out. Well, where do you go? Let's say they want to be in great shape by a specific time. Get the time, find out where they're going, talk about the place they're going. It's going on holidays. Oh, that'd be terrific. Where it is? It overseas. Oh, where's that? It's in Italy. Anywhere in particular? Boom. Going with anybody? All of a sudden, yes, I'm going with my best friend. Oh, what's his name? His name's Farouk. Oh, terrific. Now you know Farouk and Steve are going to Italy and probably going to hang out at Tuscany. All of a sudden, it becomes real, and the actual person can actually reflect with you about something that is real. That's why we say specificity makes things real. And when you actually are talking generically about your results or about your goals, it's like your needs and goals or your results. Oh, that is so old school, but I hear it all the time. Take the notes down and make sure that you listen for the names. Names of things, names of the business. Don't say, oh, we'll have your business in great shape. No. If it's the ABC Plumbing, say we'll have ABC Plumbing in good shape. If they want to play football, find out what team they play for and what position they're playing. And then use that in your dialogue. You say, what have you stopped doing at the moment? Oh, I've just stopped going out. I say, well, where haven't you gone? See, that one extra question creates the specificity, which brings the whole story. And remember, it's their story, not your story. That's the most important thing. It's their story, not your story. Your story, your process, your product, your service has to fit into their story. And there deems the skill. You write down the names, you write down the places, you get permission. Use the details in the conversation, in your qualification, in your demonstration explanation. Bring back their names, bring back the places, bring back the things in specific detail that they told you, that you took notes on. And guess what? Doors open. Because when people actually know you're listening, and you go from this mentality, and I call it going from the selling mentality to a helping mentality, and be completely present, it's now having a conversation with someone that you care about what they're talking about. I remember many times where I've gone in to be presented products and services over the years. And the person was just very pleasant, but just presented the product, didn't even have any specificity of what I wanted it for. I want to use this. Oh, yes, that'll work well. All of a sudden, it was non-specific. There was nothing. There was no my story in it. It was just a presentation. And that's one thing that I want to get you to avoid becoming. And that's ordinary. Ordinary is not the thing you want to become. You want to be extraordinary. Extraordinary. You want to be special. You want to be that person that was engaging, the person that listened, that said, hey, let me just get a few details down, and ask permission to write things down. Use that pen and paper, or get it onto your iPad. Just going to take some notes here, Joanne. All right, and then you recap, and the great skill here is called recapping. A great process to get into is when people have said something that's important, always recap it just to make sure that you got it right. It's called permissioning. This is where you can use it in your needs analysis. You could use it with your cheat sheets, and also in your milestoning, where you take them on a journey, and their personal journey. Don't give them a journey that you will give to everybody. You can do a thing called milestoning, which takes away the fear. It's a great process we did last week. And then you're now going to tailor their journey. And remember, it's their story, which is the most important thing. It is not your story. You get so wrapped up, or we all get so wrapped up in our product or service and get so excited about saying, yeah, it'll do this, it's all this. But we're not using the names. We're not using the things that they told us. So take some notes. Use that pen and paper or an iPad. Ask permission to write those things down, and I'll guarantee you, this is showing the person that you're listening. And the other skill is to say, right, I've just written a few things down. You ask permission to write it down, and then recap what they've said. Just make sure you get the pronunciation right for their family, where they're going. If they tell you their pain and your needs analysis, make sure the specificity, not just I'm worried, what are you worried about? Ask that second question to get the detail. The detail is critical. This shortens the sales cycle, because then you can actually then give your solution in specificity to fit into their story. Remember, they're not buying your product or service, they're buying the feeling that your product and service will give them. And by the way, they'll buy your product or service to get that feeling. But it's not going to connect unless there's specificity. Even when you do your needs analysis, the specificity of their worry or their, let's say, where it's affecting them professionally and personally. When they tell you the answer, tell me more. Those sorts of questions are really important. And when they want to get the outcome by a date, and a specific date and a month of the year, and then ask them why it's that period of time, means they say you're caring, and you write it down. The process is quite straightforward. Using specific dialogue and asking for recapping, writing it down will personalize everything. I see so many people get wrapped up in their sales, and they're just talking about their product or service. It'll really help you. It'll be terrific. You'll have a great time. And all of a sudden, this generic dialogue retracts from your best intention, but it's not their story. It doesn't belong to them. Yesterday, when we were in the Sales Authority Club, we taught people how to do a thing called the big picture presentation by putting the person's name on it and then taking them through their story. Just a simple journey with specificity. And that specificity takes them to an end destination and say, where would you like us, my team, the product or service to take you? Where? Boom. Now you've got a specific location on your timeline. You say, all right, well, let me show you how we're going to do that. Then do your demonstration and come back. And by the way, when you do this well, going to the price presentation is quite simple because you've created massive value. So if this is resonating with you, put a couple of little thumbs up or put something in the comments. And it will be great to see if you've got any questions about this. And the last thing I want to cover is by going through this process and actually listening to somebody, using specificity to make sure that you become extraordinary, not just ordinary. The only way you can actually learn how to do this well is to practice it. In our Sales Authority Club, some of our members now are really getting the process of PDR, practice, drill, rehearse. We actually have special little sessions just recently because of the COVID. And we're having some stuff called role play, fun play on a Thursday. And you know what? People are just learning so much quicker by practicing it. Hearing me saying it, say, yeah, Doc, I know what you're saying, we'll do that. But if you don't actually practice it, it's not going to take place. You're not going to change any type of activity or habit, break a habit or create a new one without practicing it. PDR is a critical part of actually doing any type of skills training. So if you're going to get some specificity in your needs analysis, in your rapport, asking permission to write things down, recapping, putting their story into the solution, it needs to be practiced. So the last thing I want to cover is just making sure that you understand that the specificity of the detail in giving it back is one thing. But the next thing is get confirmation that you've listened and you've got it right. Right, just want to check on this and then feed it back. Did I get it right? Yes. Anything to add? Always ask, would you like to add to it? And then write it down. Got it. Specificity. Simple thing to do. Use a trusty pen. Get permission to write it down. Watch lots of doors open for you. Okay. Now at the end of Breakfast with Dr. J, I always have a sip of my coffee because I do make a cracker cuppa. Always good. Now, if you've got any questions, pop them into the comments box and I can answer them to you. If you've got any question, not actually about what we talked about today, but anything in particular. I know it has about a 5-7 second delay. If you've got a question or two, pop it in the box and we'll see if I can answer them for you. If not, we'll actually say ta-ta. It's a wonderful day outside here in Sydney town. It's a sunny day and it's raining. How's that? I'm looking out the window here and it's raining and there's beaming sunshine coming through. Might get a rainbow. So have you got any questions? If not, thanks for joining me this morning. You have a wonderful week and make sure, practice, drill, rehearse. Get the story in place, write it down, recap, and create specificity because it makes things real. I'm Dr. J. I'll see you later. Bye for now.